My God, I hate drugs.
Please, Hontiveros and Alejano, they're like this chicken running around shouting, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. You know, kakatuwa, di ba? Tapos nakita niyo dito sa cartoon, merong police, sabi niya, amateur. And that's what they are right now. Risa Hontiveros and Alejano are like that chicken. And they are amateurs, and they're actually doing the Filipinos, you know, a large disservice. You know, they are not thinking, and then they are not making us, they're not thinking deeply. So, ano nga ba yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon? First of all, let's have to clarify something. So, I read the news. So, the news is this. China Air Force lands bombers on South China Sea Island. Okay? So, in its artificial island, nagland siya. So, why China did that? So, the news is clear. The People's Liberation Army Air Force landed nuclear-capable yung HH-6K to conduct takeoff and landing training on islands and reefs in the South China Sea. And the PLAAF, the People's Liberation Army Air Force, were actually clear what was it for. It said na, you know, it's doing it in order to prepare for the West Pacific and the battle for the South China Sea. And it actually conducted training in order to target naval targets, right? Naval targets. So yung training included, you know, how to target naval targets, diba, sa South China Sea. So bakit ba niya to ginagawa? What's going on in the world right now? In January 2000, earlier this year, the United States released an unclassified report on its nuclear policy na mag-i-improve niya ang kanyang nuclear capabilities. And of course, you know, we all know kung sinong tina-target ng United States for that. And China, in return, had to act. So, it's not really us. What China is doing is not really for against us, because guys, hindi kailangan ng China ng nuclear weapon in order to defeat us. All China needed to do is to send home all Filipino domestic helpers in Hong Kong back to the Philippines. And then that's it. Bakit? Why? Diba? That's just all it needed to do that. To destroy you, to destroy your economy. And then cut all imports coming from the Philippines. That's all China needed to do in order to destroy you. Bakit kailangan niya gumamit ng one of the most expensive weapons in world history? Anyway, so ito yung nangyayari. So, and this is expected. This is expected that China will prepare to defend South China Sea. Why would China need to defend South China Sea? Because, as I've already been telling a lot of people over and over again, in my articles, in my column, in my blog post, China's economy is maritime dependent. Ano po ibig sabihin po yan? Ibig sabihin, ang ekonomiya po ng China ay nakadepende po sa trade going through the seas. And the critical sea for China is the South China Sea, right? Around maybe at least 60% of trade, no, that China does goes through the South China Sea. The busiest ports, I think most of the busiest ports in the top 10 busiest ports in the world are Chinese ports. No? Chinese ports. Ngayon, you already know in the news na China and the US are engaged in some sort of trade war, right? The US economy is failing, and of course it needed to do something in order to stop China from further rising. And we all know what are the options on the table for the United States in order to do that. And one of them is to destabilize the economy of China. And how do you do that? One way is to destabilizing the trade routes, right? And this is the fear of China, the fear that drives China to do all this militarization. The Philippines is, oh my God, who would fear the Philippines? Malaysia doesn't even fear the Philippines. And Malaysia's military is like, what? Around, I think, number 40 or 50 in the world, 52 or something like that. Not as strong as Indonesia, right? But Malaysia doesn't even see the Philippines as a threat. Diba? To Sabah, can you imagine? We were not able to do anything nga, diba? Doon sa Sabah issue. What more sa China? Why would... So it's not you that China finds threatening, but the power that puppets the Philippines. Supposedly. But right now, with Duterte as president, China is kampante na we are not a puppet of the United States. Palitan nyo si Duterte ni Lenny, tingnan nyo. Ay, girl. Siguro, mga 10 islands tatayo na dyan. Ganon. Kasi nga, the more na you become closer to the United States, the more China would see you as a threat. Not because of you as the country, but because of the power that puppets you. Diba? So, yun nga. So that's why China is doing this. That's the reason. It needed to protect the trade route. It's a vital trade route. Its economy depends on it. If something happened to it, China collapses. Simple as that. And it has happened to China already in the past, na because it has weak naval defenses, its economy collapsed. Remember the first Opium War, because China's China was like so weak in defending its coast against the powerful British Navy. China lost the war. So it has learned its lesson, so it's applying its lesson now. That's the whole story behind it. So how do we approach now our relationship with China? Diba? Ngayon ito si Risa, sabi niya, hindi ko nga maintindihan ano itong sabi niya, stop the subservience to China. What does she mean by subservience? I really don't understand what she means by that and what she really wants to happen. Diba? Kasi nga, ganito guys, if you're thinking strategically, what's the first thing that you need to do? Diba? I'm gonna demonstrate this with a game of chess. Because, why chess? Because you all know that, my father is a national master in chess, and I know how to play chess, and this is a nice way to demonstrate this. So guys, so when you're playing chess, my question to you is, how many ways can you play chess? Diba? How many ways can you play chess? Ilang paraan mo pwedeng laruin ang chess? Diba? Ngayon, the likes of Risa Hontiveros and their supporters would tell you na, well, you can play chess in a lot of ways. Like, because you can play chess as much as how many pieces there are in chess. Sabihin nila na you can open chess like 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 ways, the white can open chess at least 8 ways or something like that. Diba? So they will give you these large numbers. No? Some philosopher would tell you that you can play chess as perhaps more than the number of stars in the universe, right? Because of the different combinations of pieces, etc. But the strategic thinkers would tell you that there are only 3 ways to play chess. Only 3 ways. At ano po yun? 1 is to win it. 2 is to lose it. And the third one is to reach a stalemate, a draw, right? Nobody wins, nobody loses, a draw. Siyempre, yung iba, why are you like reducing it to 3? Because, in strategy, the test, in strategy, the end is the most important part, right? You play chess in order to reach an end, and that's how you the end game only has three outcomes: you win, you lose, or draw. And that's the same thing with China, right? um, you either win against China, as in China doesn't get anything, you win, it's the most ideal situation for you, or you lose, that you have nothing to gain, you lose completely, or it ends with a draw, right? Ang ibig sabihin is, you're equally dissatisfied with the situation, but at the same time, you're both in the same level na you are more satisfied than losing the game completely, right? So, itong tatanungin ko kina Risa Hontiveros, saka itong kay Alejano, ha? How do you see what's the end game ba that you are envisioning that our country will have against China? What is it? Are you envisioning a total win, a total lose, or a draw? Right? What is it? What is it that's on your mind? Why is this an important question to ask? Kasi para malaman naman namin kung, the steps that would the path that we will take towards that end game. Pero whatever is the end game kasi, just like in the game of chess, I will just demonstrate it this way. Just like in the game of chess, di ba? Ano napapansin nyo? I'm just gonna show you. Di ba? Just like in the game of chess, to reach the end game, makikita nyo, what are you noticing? You are losing something, right? In order to reach any end game, you will lose something. You will lose, gain, lose, but mostly, of course, you will lose something, a lot, in order to reach whatever end game that you want. The clearer you are about the end game that you want, Risa and Alejano, the more that you could calculate how much losses that you are willing to take, that you are willing to incur in order to reach that end game. Ngayon, winning against China, how many losses do you think our country would incur in order to reach that end game? Diba? Do you think 5,000 lives is enough? Okay lang kung yung ano ba yun? Yung pamangkin mong si Luis Hontiveros na gwapo, siya maunang mamatay, di ba? Para lang i-defend yan mga bato na wala namang nakatira. Di ba? So how much losses ba are you willing to incur? Yung sabi nila na itong arbitration decision means na we already won. No, we didn't win. The arbitration decision is just like one of the pieces in the chess game. And those who are playing chess know na itong arbitration decision, this is what you call, I'm gonna explain this in a language that you lay people can understand, na this is para itong tira na feeling mo ang ganda-ganda mo, pero wala pang lang kwenta ito. Parang itong, di ba, ito. Di ba sa chess, queen is the most powerful piece, di ba? Parang ito yung na itinira mo yung queen na feeling mo na itinira mo siya dahil super powerful niya, mananalo ka na. But you don't know na, not everything that the queen does is strategic and would lead to victory. The eventual victory. Because it's just one of the moves in the game of chess. And it turns out the arbitration decision is really like nothing. It's a fluffy move. It's cute, etc. But it's useless. Right? It's useless. It's just like a king, that you moving the king one block to the left because you just want to do it. And it looks nice and you think it's a powerful move, but it's not. Parang ganun lang yan. So ano nga ba? What really is the end game? So kayong mga dilaw, kayo, every one of you, tell us what's the end game. And tell us how do you want what are the losses that we will incur as we reach that end game? Kasi si Duterte, because I follow this foreign policy pronouncement since he became public about it, like since 2015, and he was so clear about it na it's either there will be a massacre in Palawan, or we become friends with China, or or the United States stop China, like the United States bomb China, bomb all these artificial islands, etc. Right? So those are the end games, the end results that Duterte saw. And he was so good about it because he was so clear about the end results, right? No pretensions, no fluffy words. Katulad nito nila Alejano, nila Hontiveros, all these bullshit politicians, right? Duterte is so clear. What's the end game? Ano yung mga end games na posible? And Duterte chose something na it might not be fully satisfying to all of us, but this is the best end game that we can take without us suffering a lot of losses that we would incur if we want the end game to be either we fully winning against China, or of course us losing to China, kasi both are zero-sum game. Diba? So he chose to draw a stalemate. Not really a stalemate because China still has material superiority, but like in chess, not all stalemate ends up with the parties with the same number of pieces in chess. Some stalemate, the other party has more material pieces, but still nag-stalemate kayo. Kasi nga, the other party thinks na it's better to stalemate than to continue playing the game. Diba? Kasi nga, it's tiring, it will spend more resources, etc. So that's what Duterte is gunning for. Na China will not want na to win against us fully, as in erase us from the map of the earth. Diba? That's what Duterte is doing right now with his maneuver towards China. Pero itong mga ito sa mga Alejano, sina Rizzo Hontiveros, they do not see this kasi nga these people do not have any end game in mind, and they don't really know how to reach that end game. They never really had that policy. And I'm gonna show you this quote from Henry Kissinger. He's an American, but he's a very sensible realist. Sabi ni Henry Kissinger, the test of policy is how it ends, not how it begins. Foreign policy is the art of establishing priorities. Demonization is not a policy. It is an alibi for the absence of one. The test is not absolute satisfaction, but balanced dissatisfaction. So, diba? This is a very beautiful quote. He said this during the Ukraine crisis. Sabi kasi niya na, ano bang gusto niyo mangyari sa Ukraine? Do you want us to have 100% control of it? That's not possible. And Russia also know na it's not really possible that they're gonna have 100% control of Ukraine. So you go to the middle ground na both that the result would be dissatisfying to both of you, but at least it's better than playing the game like a zero-sum game wherein both of you were gonna want to win until the end. And absolutely winning any game would mean you losing a lot of resources in order to do that. Diba? Wala namang nanalo sa chess na hindi nagkaroon ng heavy losses. Diba? Unless na yung kalaban mo is amateur. Kalaban mo dito China, the longest surviving civilization in the world. Sabi nga nila na China saw a lot of empires come and go. Can you imagine? China was already alive even during the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is no longer here. China is still here. So what exactly do you want to do? Diba? So, iyan sinasabi ni Kissinger. Kailangan mo makita yung end game. And from there, trace your steps backward. Diba? O, sabi niya, demonization is not a policy. That's what LP, Liberal Party is doing. And a lot of LP supporters and Risa Hontiveros and Alejano are doing. They're just demonizing China because they don't have any policy. Why they don't have any policy? Because they don't have an end game in mind. Diba? They don't. They, kaya yan ang ginagawa nila. So yun lang po. So, ang conclusion natin, what's the difference between strategic thinking and Risa's hysteria? Risa's hysteria doesn't have any end game in mind. She doesn't know where she's going. She doesn't really know. She's living in a world of make-believe. She's not being honest to the Filipino people because she is not telling us what we will lose if we will reach the end game that she wants. Diba? All they're selling us is a pipe dream. Diba? So what's strategic thinking? Strategic thinking understand that, there's sometimes winning is not the best end game that you could achieve. Sometimes it is achieving a stalemate. Diba? Na the other party might have material superiority over you, but at the same time, it's the best result that you can have without incurring so many losses as you reach it. So yun lang po, and mabuhay po tayong lahat, and I hope these people will stop bullshitting us and just, make their strategic calculation more transparent para namang maintindihan namin kayo kasi right now para talaga kayong nakayuping lata sa tumbang preso na tinamaan ng tsinelas, nag-ingay. Ganun po kayo. So, maraming salamat po. I will just end this kasi meron pa akong isulat na column and magandang tanghali po ulit sa inyong lahat.